Welcome to another episode of UCRD Reviews. So today we have another Gundam 0083 release. This one's the RGM-79Q GM Quel version anime. So this is a blink and you'll miss it mobile suit from Gundam 0083 that appears at the very end of the series when the Albion crew ends up a part of the Titans, which is really interesting. So the Earth Federation branches off into the Titans, where they try to put a stop to any uprisings like Zeon and basically become a space police force. And we see them obviously a lot more in Zeta Gundam, but we see the beginnings of it at the very end of 0083, which is pretty cool. And this GM Quel is shown very briefly for just a second or two on truck beds being delivered as a new mobile suit. And obviously it's based on the GM Custom, but it's in Titans colors, and we get our first Titans version anime, which is pretty cool. So it's a kind of a repaint, but more of a resculpt, because like I said, although very similar to the GM Custom, there are some differences. And it comes with an interesting accessory, so let's go ahead and check it out. So we never really got to see the GM Quel as a figure, even though it was very similar to the GM Custom. One thing I do like about this one is the Titans colors. I think they have one of the best color schemes of just about any faction, and I really like this blue coloring that it gets. So similar to the GM Custom, we have a good head range movement. Not too much downward, but we had good upward movement. Of course, we can do a 360. It has the yellow Vulcans sculpted in. You have the little spot for the antenna back here, and it's got the orangish yellow visor. Moving into the arms, you have a little bit of chest flex there. Arms can move upward decent amount, and you have rotation up here in the bicep, and you have decent elbow articulation. Not great, I mean it works, but it doesn't go up into the shoulder like a lot of releases do. It's like it has a big elbow joint in there that kind of blocks stuff off. And then we have the hinged wrist here, and then of course a ball jointed hand. So not terrible, but not the best articulation we've seen. The shoulders will kind of pull out, which I don't really know why they do that. It looks kind of goofy, but you do have the little Titan symbol there, which is pretty cool. On the back, it says Titans with some numbers on it, some emblems. You have thrusters up here, and then you have ball jointed compatible thrusters. And it'll move forward about that far, and the torso, whoops, too far back. Don't want to rip the thing in half. So it just kind of comes to a resting position, it looks like there, and it'll turn all the way around. I guess I kind of cheated there. It looks like it separates pretty easily on the torso, I guess, which isn't too bad of a thing, but you got to be careful with that one. Skirt armor looks like ball jointed on the front and side, and not movable in the back. The legs will do that frontward movement there, so the whole leg can pull forward. They'll come up about that far, and then you have pretty good knee articulation there, a lot better than the elbow. And then moving down to the feet, they'll come down about that far, come up with toe articulation, and then move side to side a decent amount. Again, nothing crazy. There's no spectacular articulation with this figure thus far, but it does look nice. So you have some hard points for storing stuff, beam saber rack. I think like the GM Custom, yeah, this pops open for the bazooka storage, hard points for shields and stuff. and then I think these two are effect part compatible as well. So all in all, pretty cool. You have thruster compatibility down here. And I think this is shield storage in the middle of the backpack too. So let's take a look at what it comes with real quick. So just like any other version anime release, we have the hand holder along with beam saber hands, gun hands, and 2 different sets of posing hands. We also get a beam saber blade, which is attachable to the beam saber handle that is stored back here. I also put on the antenna, very easy to attach, and you do get a spare back there. We have the shield. This is the same one that comes with the GM Custom, but obviously it's painted in Titan's colors, and it has all the same features, which include magazine storage. So you have 2 extra magazines for the GM rifle, and both of them will store side by side. You also have, if I can dig around in here, this is arm storage for the shield. Boy, tight fit there. So you have one in this configuration, and you have one to gonna wrap it around the bottom of the arm as well. So you have 2 different options there. And then you have back storage. So this piece will kind of attach like that, and then the shield will store on the ball joint there. You also have storage for the GM rifle, and again I believe all this comes with the GM Custom. Get this piece out of here. There we go. So then this one, I believe it attaches right like that. And we'll go ahead and grab the rifle, and it can plug into any, either side. Speaking of the GM rifle, we have it here. It's the exact same gun that comes with the GM Custom, complete with a removable magazine, which I always think is super cool, and it's effect part compatible. Lastly here, we get a vehicle, which is pretty cool. It's actually the truck that was carrying the GM Quels in the series that they were shown laying down on. So this panel is removable, and I'll show you why in a second, and I believe you can store it under here. Let's see if I can get this lined up. It's kind of hard to do. There we go. I think I got it there. And you can take your figure, kind of put them in a resting pose, and it allows for the backpack to kind of sit down in there, which is pretty interesting. And this panel will actually pop off as well, and you can hook a stand into there if you want to. So it's pretty neat. Wheels don't move, which initially I was kind of disappointed, because I was like, man, why does it have wheels and it doesn't move? But I guess if you're having a expensive figure standing on there, you don't really want it moving around. So cool, but kind of only useful for 1 or 2 different kinds of things. So we have here the GM Quel alongside the GM Custom figure. Real quick before I get into this, I did want to add that it does come with a GM rifle storage piece for the back. It's the same exact one that comes with the GM Custom, and I forgot to mention it does not have any thigh swivel, just like the GM Custom. So let's take a look at the differences here. Firstly, the head. Although they look very similar, the armor above the visor is pretty different. The GM Quel's is a little more streamlined. The mouthpiece is different as well, and the side vents on the head. So pretty much everything in the front is different. However, on the back, they're identical. Speaking of the back, the backpacks are identical. Obviously, they're just colored different, as is the rear skirt armor. They are identical there, and the side skirt armor as well. The back of the legs is the same, and the feet are actually the same as well. So there's a lot of similarities with these. Moving over to the front, though, the arms are a little bit different. The GM Customs are a little bulkier. The shoulders are obviously very different, as is the chest. So you can see the GM Customs is a little bit more armored, and the GM Quels has that little sensor on it, and it's a little more streamlined. The skirt armor for the Quel is a little shorter, and then the legs in the front are different on the front profile. You can see the sensor moved from the knee down to the ankle. So overall, really cool that they did all those subtle differences. You know, I like when they do stuff like that. And it's nice that both of these are regular releases. You know, the GM Quel, I was sure that it was going to be a P Bandai release, but it ended up being a regular release, which is really nice. So this is a pretty nice first entry for the very first Titans mobile suit in the version anime line. I do actually like this one a little better than the GM Custom, and that's just because it's an obscure design. I have a thing for obscure mobile suits. But objectively, without any bias, it's not quite as good a figure as the GM Custom. Now they're both regular releases. I picked this one up for about $53 and change before shipping, which is a good price for it, but the GM Custom is the better figure. Although this one has a little bit better paint detailing, the GM Custom has slightly better articulation and comes with more stuff. So, and it doesn't come with a big hunk of plastic truck bed, which is an interesting accessory, but kind of useless. Like, I could see why they put it in there, but also I kind of ask myself, okay, why did they take up all of this plastic and space to give us something that essentially is just like, oh, lay the mobile suit down in the most boring pose humanly possible so you can recreate the 2-second scene that it was in the show. But you know, it is what it is. It is unique, at least, I guess. So let me know down in the comments if you ended up picking this one up, or if you passed on it, or if you didn't know what a GM Quel was until you saw this review. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and keep an eye out for the review of the Gelgoog Marine, which is going to be the next thing I'm going to upload. So again, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the figure, and I'll see you next time.